Hello and good evening. That was a funny face, wasn't it? Well, Thursday evening, and usually our Thrifty Thursday. However, it's time for September subscription boxes. So let's see who's joining me this evening on Thursday the 24th of August. One more week and we'll be into September. Oh my goodness. Now, as I'm on the So Totally Trisha page, I should be able to see comments. And I have. Hello, Jill. Hello, John. Hope we're both well tonight. Hello, Sue. Oh, I'm sucking away. I don't know. Yes, hello, Sue. Sue says hi to all. Hello, Sarah. And what have we all been up to today? Hello, Karen. It's been sunny all day today. Hello, Jill, and quite hot. Hello, Trisha. But it's a bit windy now, and I was thinking it might rain. Hello, Jane. Who did I miss there? No, I didn't miss anybody. Jill, Patricia, Jane. Marion, rainy today. I thought we were going, oh, good in J&J Towers. Jolly good. Hello, Pollyann. Yes, I thought it was going to rain here, but it hasn't yet. Hello, Judith. And hello, Lindsay. Lindsay, my wingman, my right arm, my left arm. Hello, Lorraine. Hello, Christine. Hello, Kirsten. Hello, Dorothy. Lindsay sees all the things I don't see. Hello, Jack. Lovely to see you. Hello, Anne. I see you've all been having a look at the website already. Hello, Pamela. And good evening, Jane. Yes, so, oh, you've had thunder in Surrey, Karen. Oh, dear. Well, I wouldn't surprise if we had it here. Hello, Linda. Hello, Wendy. And rainy in Kent too. Hello, Anne. Well, I'm glad it's not rainy here. Hello, Michelle. Dinner's calling. Okay, not a problem. Hello, Sharon. You're camping with the Scouts. Rather you than me. Hello, Pat. Good evening to you. Pat, I hope you're managing to find the group. So let me just, hello Vanessa, oh thank you, I'm looking cool. I don't feel cool, I felt warmer, I feel a little bit better than I did earlier, but no, it's fine. Hello Carolyn, just started to rain. Said Lorraine. I see some funny things, quite often I can work it out, but I wonder if it's going to be unfortunately. Good evening Shirley, but it gives me a giggle. And I'm sure you're giggling. Well, I can see you giggling, Lorraine. Yeah, what was I going to say? Hello, Christine. I was going to say, hello, Tony. I wasn't going to say that, but I am now. If you're wanting to join the So With Trisha group, hello, Sandra. The basics of what you need to do. Hello, Julie. Hello, Marilyn. The basics of what you need to do, and hello, Elaine, is to make the £5 payment either on the website. Hello Mavis, and hello Angela, and then request to join the group. So just two things. Make the payment in one way or the other, either a one-off online payment, or hello Mavis, or you can go onto the website and join the So With Trisha group, and then request to join So With Trisha. And as soon as you do that, Lindsay or I will be there and approve you. Hello, Gidget Marie. And so that you're absolutely in the group. Next week is the last one of the month, and it is the mini quilt, which I must get round to making. I've done tomorrow night's project though, so we're all good to go for up to next week. So that is all you need to do. Number one, make your payment. Number two, request to join. Now, we do get a lot of requests to join. There are a few questions to answer. Hello, Alison. A few questions to answer, and quite often people haven't answered the questions. So if the payment doesn't come through to join, then the request is deleted. So we usually give you about a week to do that, because you may not have read all the blurb about it. But as so many, hello Sharon, so many of you will say it's well worth joining. And we've got that overlocker, which will be a week today. So next Thursday, I shall. You did, Marilyn. I saw yours. I know I have a few come through before the end of the, or for the beginning of the month. Hopefully everybody that pays in advance of the month of September will actually at some point be paying on the 1st of September. It just means there's a little bit more work to do because I have to keep checking every day rather than just on one day. Hello Bev. Oh, thank you Pollyann. And hello Janet. Good evening. Hope you're well too. Right, so that is that. I feel I need to say that because so many people do request to join but don't go any further than that. And you all know what they're missing out on. So tomorrow night's project, which is a circular drawstring bag for makeup, jewellery, toys, depending on size. There will be a PDF because I'm in the middle of writing up the instructions. So for those in the Sew with Trisha group, there will be a PDF there for you to download. So that will be another project, absolutely free within the month of August. So tonight, it is the subscription box for September. And I shall be getting them all together, so it gives you a good couple of weeks, no, 3 weeks in fact. So it'll be about the middle of September they will all go out. So it gives you time to think, no, I don't want it this month, or yes, I do. So although I call it a subscription box club, you're not tied to buying every single month. So if you're Evening Heather, oh that was Janet, yeah. Even though I call it subscription, you just buy when you want to buy. And more often than not, if it's the standard, it's £30, including postage, and you get a new range of fabrics that I have in. So this month's, or September's, is going to be from the Heather and Sage range. And if you were watching yesterday, was it yesterday? No, Tuesday in the group, that's right. I gave the group members a sneaky peek of what the project was. So what you're getting this month, you will get, I'll show you the fabrics in a moment, but you will get a full printed instruction pack here for the picnic bag. And here is our picnic bag, drawstring top. And you can see from the fabric, this is one of the options. It's a farm scene. Are you just, oh, hello Barbara. So this is the project. You'll get full printed, photographic, step-by-step instructions as I usually do. And it's a lovely little bag. I've used fusible fleece in here. So it's still got plenty of body. You see how that stands up and doesn't flop. And with your subscription box, you will be able to make one of these, if not two. Thank you, Shirley. And good evening, Catherine. The only thing you will need to add is lining fabric because it needs to be slightly bigger than the long quarters, but everything else you'll be able to get out of it. And as I say, with the amount of fabric, you will probably be able to get two just by adding your lining and your wadding, whichever you might like to use. You could use Thermolam, which I use a lot. Hello, Sheena. Or I suppose you could use G700 interfacing. Wouldn't give it as much body, but it would still look good. Yeah, I think the fabric is lovely. It's basically a farm scene, but there's a little tractor on there. Where is he? There he is. Little house in the foreground or the background. It's lovely, and there's coordinating fabrics to go with it. So, let me show you the options. So you will get the full printed instructions for that, which I've called the picnic bag, and the blue option, which is there. You'll get 5 long quarters. So can you see the fabrics? So you've got the swallows. You can choose, if you're going to make the bag, whichever ones you would like as your outer fabric, or your drawstring fabric. Use its lining if you like to, but a little bit of a waste. The lining fabric, you do need slightly different measurements that are wider than the 10 inches. So, oh, thank you very much for that person without an exhaust silencer. So we've got swallows flying. It is lovely, summery and fresh. We have got trees, all those colours. And then we have the scene. Whoops, which we have there. Not holding this very well. Then we have the coordinating linen texture that goes with, and then there's this lovely floral leafy, there we are, fabric to go along with. So there are your 5 long quarters. You will also this month be getting, let me pop that, not on the floor. I was just going to go and close that door. I've got both doors open, so obviously really hear every noise possible. You'll also get a 100-metre roll, spool even, of Gutterman cotton thread, which coordinates beautifully with that. But you will also get, we did do this on the very first one, hello Sandra, a 6-inch wool pressing mat. So, firstly, if you've already got one, you can never have too many wool pressing mats. And if you've got a 6-inch one, you could butt the 2 up together so that it's 12 inches long, which I think would be quite handy. If you haven't got one already and haven't tried them before, these are worth around £10. I think they may be on the website, reduced price at the minute, but they should be £10. So there is your starter into seeing how well a wool pressing mat works with your patchwork, with anything else you might be doing. But it's a nice little, especially mini quilts, easily, this will easily be big enough. So that was your, whoops, oh, everything's falling around on me. There are your 5 fabrics. 1, 2, oh, I'm going to, hang on. Oh, that's muted it a little bit. Oh, it's so irritating. Don't they know that we're all listening? It's all on the website, Rhonda. Every time I do subscription boxes, I pop them on the website so that you can go there. If you search for subscription box, you will see them. Oh, go away, go away. There we are. So there is, you can see, absolutely beautiful. Love it. Being a farmer's daughter, why wouldn't I? Oh, thank you, Rhonda. The linen texture, I do, don't I? That was done, I think they've got guests tonight, so it was done yesterday. There is another one. Absolutely beautiful. Now you'll have this fabric actually is in the mauve option, which I will show you in a moment. I've called it mauve, but it's like a heather. Hello, Sheila. I think it is Martin, yeah, if he could walk that far. There's your trees, lovely. All those colours are in the main fabric, and there are your swallows. So that is your blue option. Now the lilac option is just as gorgeous, gorgeous. So it is, as you can see, it is a heather. It's a pale plum. And just look at, wrong way, just look at that linen texture there. That is one lovely colour. Hi Jane. What's this? Oh, thank you Janet. Janet's found and popped a link up. That is lovely, thank you. There is the heather range in the, it's just reminded me I might have some more of fabrics. No, that's all right. So there is the heather trees. There's cows on there as well. There is the heather swallows, and there is, now this one, yes, upside down, but how lovely is that? Can you see how they work so beautifully together? I'm using that one tonight because I'm going to show you how it all goes together, the picnic bag, using this colour range. And there's the one, as I said, which is in the blue option as well. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, so this one actually I haven't got a coordinate, but this one's got cream to go with this. So you'll get the thread to go there and your wool pressing mat plus your instruction pack. So similar setup. That was your heather option. And then the final option, because sometimes I give you too much choice, don't I, is a panel. Now, Oh, you're cutting your potato chip blocks. Lovely, Jane. Can't wait to see it. I'll show you this. So this one has a panel, and hence it has 3. So we've got 3 fabrics to go with this, all from the same range. You've got the linen texture in that deep grey. You have got the trees, and you've got this lovely, it's almost an oak leaf but not quite, fabric as well. So so there's 3 fabrics, but the panel is actually the equivalent or a little bit more than another 2 long quarters. So let me show you this. So here is the panel. Whoops, put that over there. Here is the panel. We have a squirrel and we have a fox with that same background is in that main fabric. We've got a blackbird, a rook, a crow, a raven, whatever you might like it to be, and a little deer. And we have a couple of hares, the running hare and the sitting hare. Yeah, it is so pretty. And then at the bottom we have a fox and an owl. So as you see, there's 2, 4, 6, 8. 8 different animals. Hello, Jenny. Yes, Jenny, it's just for you for tomorrow. But yes, so here is your panel. It goes beautifully with the fabrics here. You see how the grey is just the right colour that frames. So you could do cushions with this, but what I was looking at was the size of these panels. So this could be the front or back of your picnic bag, but I think I'll probably adapt it to slightly different sizes because to make the bottom of the bag, it does need a fair size cutout, and it would cut quite a bit of this panel out of it. But it is an absolutely lovely panel. Now I do only have 10 of these. I think I've sold these on open house days, and so I've only got 10. So there's 10 sets of the panel one. But there's lots of other things you could do with it. But you could, you know, if you added the grey around it to make it a little bit bigger, then it wouldn't cut into the actual fabrics on the panel because they're a bit too gorgeous. Lovely, lovely wide bit here. So if you are making cushions, you've got a good area to be able to give you a border to each of them. Sometimes in the past, they've put the squares so close together that you hadn't got a 1/4 of an inch, but this gives you almost 2 inches there. So, oh right, you had those panels, bit was lighter. Yeah. So this, yes, this is a dark, darker grey linen texture there. So that is that one, and there is a grey thread, deep grey thread to go with that, and also the wool pressing mat. And you will get the instruction pack because you're not going to miss out on that, just because you may or may not use it for making the picnic bag. You've got that there to use whenever you like. So the choice is yours. They are on the website. They are £30 including postage, and I think you'll rather enjoy making those up. So shall we, let's see, oh not too bad, 10 to 7. Shall I show you how to make this little bag? The majority of you will find it quite straightforward. The most, or the bit you perhaps haven't seen before, is how you get the drawstring on the top and quite neatly. So you can see in there, it's nicely lined as well, no raw edges, and also with this technique, I don't know if you can just see, where the drawstring comes through, there's no raw edges, and we've also got, oh perhaps it's easier to see there, we have got stitched lines going down here, which also goes around your the opening for the channel, which you don't always get that, do you? They just tuck in and then when you thread your ribbon or your piping cord through, the raw edges poke out. Well, this way they don't, because there's stitching now on both sides, and it's really nice and neat. And sometimes this comes undone here. Oh, Victoria's forgotten again. Sometimes it comes unstitched there because there's a raw edge, but it's not raw inside or outside. So I'm going to show you how to do that, and I think that will be another little trick up your sleeve to get really professional finishes. So I've got my pieces cut out, and I think what we'll do first of all, because we don't always do this, because those of you that are buying the kits, I will just show you the process, but I won't give out all measurements. But I'm going to make the handles first of all, and with the handles, I don't always do this, but I'm going to put a little bit of wadding inside. You could see from here, can you see how I've done some stitching down there as well? And they're quite a robust handle. It's really nice. Being only cotton, sometimes back learning new things. Yes, and getting out white. Absolutely right to do that, Michelle. Who wants to do the washing up? Okay, so let me I'll just switch on the iron. Oops. Press that down. Sit myself down again. So we'll get the iron in here. There we are. Oops. Oh, I'm coming undone. Good job I looked at the camera. Oh dear. John will be having a field day. Perhaps this is one that I shouldn't have. What I'll do. Have you ever done this when you're at school? I'll put it on the outside because you know exactly what I'm doing. I'm going to put a safety pin. There we are. Safety pin on there, and it won't happen again. So I've already, with my bag handles, so these are the little handles, I've already folded it, as you know, 4-inch piece of fabric, in half and pressed, opened it out, and then the raw edges have gone to the middle, and I've pressed each end. I know, Barbara, isn't it just? Isn't it just? And then I folded it in half again and pressed it. So I'll pop it down there. Let's just see if we come in a little bit closer to this. That's lovely. So I'll just... Oh, you get those folded edges. That was strange. Haven't had to reconnect. Did I just freeze for a minute? I have to press those folded edges together because the more they are lined up exactly, the better. So when I'm going to put in, when I'm going to put a little bit of wadding in, because my strap is going to be 1 inch wide, I cut my little bits of wadding. This is fusible fleece, so I never throw scraps away. I cut this just 3/4 of an inch wide. You can put thermolam inside, and I would do exactly the same thing. You want it narrower than your 1 inch because when you wrap the fabric around it, it does take up a bit of the excess, and then it doesn't wrap round, so you get that perfect meet. So if we then open out one side, and I'm just going to lay, this is a little bit longer than I need, I'm going to lay that down, tuck it underneath one side, and pop it back down again. Now I'm actually going to turn it up the other way because my fusible is facing downwards. Not that it matters, but so having done that, I'm now just going to put that on. I won't press it as much as, I'm making sure those edges are lined up, as I would when I come to do the backing fabric. So now I've got that one done, and we'll do exactly the same with this one. So I'll just give that a nice press because I've already folded it. Unfold and just take one edge and then place your wadding inside like so and fold it back in again. Now you can see how that folds still perfectly because I haven't got 1 inch wide piece, which would take up some of the fabric and push that a little bit out of alignment. So let's just give that a little press, and that is done. And I'm going to leave that on because if you can tuck that under that table. Ooh, there we go, out of the way. So I've got my 2 pieces there. Let's go there. And all I'm going to do now, I've changed to using my DX7 today because I've hardly used it. And I just think I should have done. Oops, so that's there. Okay, so the first thing I always do with the bag handle, this open edge, I always stitch down there first of all. And I'm going to, I usually do it about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and I'll do a bigger stitch length like a 3.5. 1, it gets, it stitches quicker, and 2, actually I'm just doing a straight, but also what I would do on this, I would do the triple stitch, which is always really nice, looks really good on your bag handles. So we'll stitch down there. I'll take the other bit in so I won't cut in between. And I cut these to size. Usually what I would do is to cut the whole width of fabric, and then I cut the length I want. Now rather than cut here, I'm just going to stitch across the bottom and then 1 more, and then we'll come back down the other side. I'm putting my fingers, I don't know if you can see my fingers are forming a channel. I just pop them sides like that so that the bag handle can flow between my fingers. I even might put it on there a little bit just to keep that running nice and straight. And we'll get the next one in there. So I've got them just over, but I'm letting it run underneath like a little channel, and then that gives me lovely straight stitching. So next thing I'm going to do, I've got 2 lots, so I could stitch just straight down the middle if you want to, or I will, that's what we're going to do, I will stitch another line. So I'm using the edge of my foot here, I'm basically going 1/4 of an inch in from that stitch line that I've already just stitched. So there is one, we'll go on to the next one, and then I'm going to come back down the other side so that I've actually got 4 rows of stitching. Just makes things a little bit different. It might not be evenly spaced, but let's see, we'll go just there and fairly evenly. So straight down the middle, well it isn't straight down the middle, I'm lining up with my 1/4 inch on that previous stitch line, but it gives me nice straight stitches. Perhaps looks as if I've got not a twin needle but a 4 needle. Okay, let's cut that there. So we have our 2 there, not too bad at all. Where's my scissors? There are my scissors. So there's our first little bit all done. I've got my 2 bag handles nice and neatly done. Right, the next thing I'm going to do, I'm using this as my trim. So the top of the bag is here. So what we want to do is place, let's just get that back just a little bit. So here is my main fabric, and what we need to look at is the trim is going to go along that top edge. So my trim is going to be the swallows. So I just match that up, and I can see they're going the right way. It's only the clouds that are directional. The swallows are going in all directions, but by popping it at the top, what I'm going to do now is flip that right sides together, like so, and align that top edge, and we'll go back down to our normal stitch. We'll do a 2 stitch length on this case, but also we will be doing a 1/4 inch seam allowance. So I'm going to stitch across here, just hold that, pin along here if you would like to, but as you know, I'm just holding this, not stretching, I'm just holding that taut so that that edge lines up really nicely. So 1/4 inch seam allowance, and we'll do exactly the same. Make sure your seam here is the right way up, and make sure our clouds are the right way up, and then we'll pop them right sides together. This just makes it just look a little bit more, more professional, if you like. A little added extra by having a trim to the top rather than just the same fabric all the way from the top to the bottom. So, and it goes so well, being from the same range, why wouldn't it work? But it's the same sort of a slightly lighter colour than the heather in there. And I'm going to bring the ironing board back in again because we just want to do our top now. So, having stitched that together, I'm just going to push that back and press that, because we will do a bit of top stitching there, and then the same with the other one, just there. Oh, I didn't do my lining fabric, did I? Oh, my goodness. Or did I? No, I don't think I did. Okay, so there we have our two pieces. So now we need to take our wadding. So as you know, I've got my fusible fleece, and I have popped that. Let's just see. No, that's right. Yeah. So I'm just going to pop the fusible fleece. Has got the dotty adhesive side, so I'm just going to line that up. Oh, we don't like the wrong way around. That's why. Dum -de -dum. It is a very similar in sizing. It's not a square, but that's it. So that goes nicely. So just line that up and give that a press. So I'll pop that in. Nice bit of steam. So fusible fleece, steam if you like, or not. It does like a bit of steam, but I'll give it a good 10-15 seconds of heat. And again, just here. Okay. So that looks pretty good. So I've got my fleece on the back there, and we will just put our fleece on the back of this one too. Let's just make sure that is, yes, that's the right way up. Okay, so I'm just lining that up with that top edge, and I've got the seam facing upwards. There we go. Right, that fits quite nicely. So again, I'm just going to give that a few puffs of steam, get that nicely set all the way there, and just turn that around. And it always, if you leave it to cool down a little bit, the same as if you're using H640, that would also be a good wadding to use for this. H640 likes a bit of steam also. Okay, so we've got our two pieces, and they're floppy while they're warm. They are cooler when they are, so let's just put that, when they've cooled down, they become firmer. Now what I just need to do very, very quickly is cut myself some bits of, where's my ruler there? Just need to cut some bits of the lining and know exactly what they are size-wise, because what we need to do at this point is cut a, there we are, we need to cut some corners out, which will be our base. So let me just quickly, that one is there. Good job I've got things to hand, isn't it? So, well, that's right. So I have got now my pieces. So what we're going to do, what I always like to do, when I'm cutting corners out for our base, I like to place my pieces right sides together, or wrong sides together, as long as it's one or the other, and then I'm going to put my lining, make sure that's the right way around as well. I'm going to add my lining here, and also what we need to do, because the cutouts go at the bottom, let's make sure this is the right way. So we want our top edges, our trims to be at the top, and we want our bases, we want our cutouts to be in the corner. So we will cut out our corner. I'll mark it first of all, and there is my pen, and where is my ruler? There's my ruler. So that is, there we are. So I'm going to cut out, and I do like to cut this out by hand, so I'm just going to mark myself the squares that I need to cut out, and we will cut this one here. So mark it first and then cut it out with scissors. So, and it's a fairly large base, so if you want to have a narrower base, just cut a smaller square. And as you'll know from the very first Back to Basics bag that I did, it's one of those that you can adapt to whatever sizing you like. So we've cut our corners out. So there is our shape to crack on with in a moment. Right, I think what we will do at this point, we will make our bag up, and then we will move on to doing the drawstring. It's my chair. I should have me rolly one in here, shouldn't I? Okay. So, easy peasy. I've got my bag pieces lined up before we even start. So, I'm going to stitch just like our standard bags, and I'm going to stitch around, or down rather. So I'll just reverse as you go. 1/4 inch seam allowance. I'm going down one side, and it's all hopefully lines up. There we go. So we stitch down that side. That's it, that's fine. I'm going to stitch along the bottom of the bag. So I'll just reverse there. You don't have to reverse there, but I sometimes do, just because it holds it a little bit more firmly when we come to make the bottoms. So that's the only thing that I prefer the reversing to go a little bit quicker than it does. Now, what I should have said, let's line up these top pieces here. So where the top of your trim, just make sure they line up. If this doesn't line up as well, the bottom like that isn't minimally, that doesn't matter. So let's just make sure that trim part lines up, which is far more important. I should put that moved over a little bit. So we'll go right to the top here, and we'll just reverse up there. And then for those of you that have never made a bag before, we've got these cut out corners which we missed. We didn't stitch around. So now if you put your hand inside, your fingers in those corners, and pull that out so that that matches. And then where the seams meet, push one way and one the other, like so. And then I'm going to put a pin. Let's put a pin. Let's put a pin at that point just to hold that, and you want that to all line up nicely as well. So we'll just pop that under the machine, and we will stitch across there. I do reverse here all the time because we don't want a hole to appear. And then just make sure the one this other side, there's always one side that tends to pull apart. So I've done that one there, and just make sure that lines up nicely, and reverse again at that side just to hold that together. And what you can do is just check, and I can see, yes, that has gone the whole way across there. So we've got the other bag corner here. Again, put your fingers in there, and you can see this seam is pushed towards that way. So we'll push it the same so we don't have a twist in there. Nest that seam up just there. Pop a pin in it, just to hold that, and then again we'll line that up and stitch across this edge here. So flatten it down. The fusible fleece will spring back into shape again, so just reverse, carry on across there. We don't stitch over the pin, but I'm just pulling that over so that that is all still lined up, and reverse at the other end. Okay, so now we have our bag started. We can turn it to the right side, like so. Push those corners out just to make sure that we haven't got a hole there where we didn't stitch. Okay, like so. A little bit of thread coming up there. Just trim that off. I can see without trimming the fabric. So we have got the start of our little bag here with the nice swallow trim at the top. So the next thing I'm going to do is with my lining. So I've got my lining lined up as well, and we're going to do almost the same thing as we did before. The bottom corners are cut out just as the outer, and we are going to stitch down here. So I'll start reversing at the top and stitch down this side. I must say I love making these little bags. I could make them all day long. And then we'll go to the bottom, but at the bottom we're not going to stitch the whole way across. So I reverse there, and I'm only going to go in an inch or so, and I'm going to leave a big gap along here. So having cut that thread, we'll push it over to, you know, an inch, inch and a half from the other side, because we're going to need that for our turning gap. And we'll reverse there. Okay, and then we'll move to the other side, and we'll just go all the way up the other side. So we can whiz up here. And reverse at the top. We've still got our cut-out corners to deal with. So there is our cut-out corner. So again, just pull that apart, put your finger in that hole there, pull at the corners, align those seams there. So let's just pop that across, and I'll say we'll put a pin in there again, because I know some of you do like to use pins, and absolutely fine, no problem at all. But because there's no wadding there, that lines up really very easily, and we can just stitch across here. So reversing again, pull that pin out before we get to the hole, before we get to the pin, straight across and reverse. So that is nicely secured, and then the other side we have the other hole there. So fingers in between the hole, and that seam is going that way, so I'm going to make sure that one goes that way, and the one at the back goes in the opposite direction. So again, pop your pin just to hold that seam down, then you know that is going in the right direction, and then that seam, the short one, lines up really, really easily. So we can just flatten that down and stitch and across. Take that pin out and all the way to the other side. Reverse there for some strength. Okay, and we've got our gap in the bottom there for turning our bag through, but we're going to set that aside for a moment because that is ready for our next step. But what we need to do now is make our drawstring part. This is the part we're going to do now, and we'll attach once we've got the drawstring part made. So I have got my two pieces here, 1, 2, and what we're going to do first of all is we are going to fold them in half. I'm just going to go back to the ironing board again. Let's just drag that out here, and so at the ironing board I want to fold these two pieces in half. So we'll do it on the wrong side. So let's fold it in half. It doesn't matter which way, but we are going to be, we're going to make a mark. So I folded it in half. I've got the fold down here. So this is on the short edge that I folded it. And I'm just going to press that. Okay. And I've lined that up perfectly along there. So there's one piece, and then we'll do exactly the same with the other. We will line that up like so. I'm just going to press along that fold. Okay. So having pressed along that fold, what I'm going to do just on one piece, because we can see, I'm going to make a mark with my pen, and I'm going to do 3/4 of an inch. Where's my ruler? Here. Right, so up this side, oops, can't see there. So I've got my fold along here, and up this side I'm going to make a little mark at 3/4 of an inch. So I've made that little mark there, 3/4 of an inch up, and I'm going to do exactly the same on this side as well. So we'll make a little mark there, and then I'm going to flip it over so it's 3/4 of an inch from the fold. So 3/4 of an inch, there's my inch, there's my 3/4 of an inch. So I've made a little mark there, and then I will on this opposite side here, 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so you can probably see that 3/4 of an inch there and there. There is my fold on the top. So when I open it out, I've got two little marks here. There's the fold, and there's one each side. So having done that, I'm going to take my other piece of fabric. Let's make sure they're the right way up. And I'm going to place the two together, like so. And then I'm going to stitch down this side. 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. That's it, 1/4 of an inch seam allowance. What's wrong way? There we are. So I'm going to start, and I will reverse at the top. So I'm stitching down here, lining these edges. When I get to that first mark, I am going to stop. Well, I'm going to reverse. I'm going to reverse there and cut the thread. Okay, now I've got the bottom lined up here. And so then I'm going to move to my next mark, which is obviously 3/4 of an inch away. I will stitch and reverse, and then stitch down to the bottom. And we'll just reverse at the bottom there as well. So then we can turn to the other side, the other raw edges, and we can pull that into place, and we will stitch down this side too. So a little reverse at the beginning, and stitch down to that first mark, because what this is going to do, this is going to form our channel, and reversed. So I've got the other end, so I'm going to cut my threads there, then leave a gap, and start at my next little mark, and stitch down to the bottom here. Okay, so I am going to use the iron here, because what I want to do, let's go back to the ironing board here, I want to open out these seams. So this seam here, I want to open it out. So because it's in a tube, I've got one seam here and one seam here. So when I iron this one, open, it's not going to press the other one as well. So let's just press this open. And obviously, because we left that little gap, there is going to be a hole. Let me just put my finger here, and you will see. Can you see that finger there? There's a gap there. So having done that first seam, And then the one I've just done is there, this one is here. So just pull it across, pull that apart, so that we can then press up here, open that out nicely. So we have got 1/4 inch at each side. So we have opened that up now. So there is my opened seam and pressed. So now we're going to stitch down both sides. Now, how we do that, because we have this tube, I'm going to stitch here, but I'm going to pull all the rest of the fabric underneath out of the way. So here's the rest of the fabric. You can see, it's hard to show you actually, but there's the other part of the fabric there. So as I put that in, and I'm going to stitch about 1/8 of an inch to the side of the seam on this side all the way down, and then back up the other side. So let's just pop this in here. So I'm watching where it's stitching. So to start off with, can you see in here, I'm pulling that fabric out of the way. So let's just, if I start stitching, here we are. So I'm just to the side. It isn't even 1/8 of an inch really to the side of the seam. But what we're getting to, can you see that gap? Can you see that gap just there? So because I'm stitching down the side, and here I've pulled my fabric back. Okay, so I'm just keeping my thumbs there, pulling that out of the way. So I'm going to carry on stitching, and this is the part which holds, which gives a nice finish to the edge of where the drawstring goes in and out. Okay, so I've still got, look, there's my gap. I've still got my fabric going down here. So I'll get to the bottom. What I'm going to do, as that's going to go in the seam, I'm going to swivel that round and just go back up the other side of the seam. There we are. So swivel that round. The rest of my fabric is out of the way there. And all we're going to do, this gets easier as it goes along here. So again, about, probably it's just a smidge towards the side of the seam that we made originally, but it's holding that down. Okay, so I can see the seam, and all we're going to do is go up the other side as well. So I'll show you what that looks like from there. So that looks, it's hard to see because it blends in with it, but there's seams either side there, and then there's seams here holding those raw edges down, and then also there is that little gap, and that has got stitching to both sides, so that looks so neat. So that's that one side. We're going to do the same now with this side. So let's just go back in here. We'll go to this side first. So I can feel the fabric's out of the way, but I'm now going to put my fingers in there to make sure it is totally out of the way, because the last thing we want to do is stitch over that as well. So straight down. And I'm just watching that seam so that I'm stitching to the side of it. Okay, right. I think I started on the opposite side that time, but it doesn't matter. Right, so I've done one to that side, and then we're going to go back up here. So let's just make sure we're not stitching on anything. So there is my seam. It's quite hard to see the seam because it blends in so well. So that's going up there. Okay, and one of the reasons I use this machine is because I wanted a free arm. So now, so there's my little hole that side. So now I'm going to fold it wrong sides together, back into my tube, but like that. Okay, I'm going to take us back to the ironing board because I want to press that top edge in again. So there we are. So I just folded that. I'm going to align those raw edges at the bottom, and that pressing that we did in half to begin with. So let's just line that seam up there. Okay, and then what you get is that little, can you see when I've lined that seam up, that edge, and we'll line this other edge up as well. So just pull that together so that these raw edges come together there, and the raw edge there, which then means that this top we can press again. So that gives us the folded edge, and then that gives us that little bit there and that little bit there. A bit of thread, we'll just pull that away. And now all we're going to do, I'm going to stitch, I'm going to stitch just along around the whole way. So let's just pull that out of the way. I'm going to stitch the whole way round to create our channel. So we'll go back to the machine. Now that was one of the reasons why we needed to have a free arm. So I've taken my accessory box off, and now I'm going to pop this over here, and I'm going to stitch. We can measure or pin, but I'm going to stitch from this point here, so just there, where that opening, where that comes open there, just to close the channel. So, and I'm just going to watch that distance, so I won't reverse at the beginning, so we're just going to stitch around here, and what I should do is come when I get here to the bottom, there we are, so I've got to the bottom of the other side's channel, and that's close the channel so that we can run our piping cord or ribbon through there as well. So rather than reverse, I'm just going to go straight over the previous bit of stitching at the beginning. So we can just trim that thread away, a little bit that side. So now you see, oops, I'll just get that a little bit more. Don't want little bits of thread there. Okay, so now we've got that lovely channel. Let's just put that over, there you see, all nice and neat, ready for threading our straps through, threading our piping cord through. So I can pop that back on. So now we're nearly actually finished. So let's take back our bag. In a little bit here. No, we're not. Okay, so we've got our bag. Just take that down a little bit there. That's better. So we have our bag. Now we need to place our straps. So I am going to, I'll pop a pin, 1, 2, 3. So if I put that pin there, so I know where I can put my handles. And the same from this side, just measure to there and pop a pin in there. Then I'm going to get my handle here, and we are going to, just going to trim those bits of thread off there, and we're going to put our bit of thread. I'm going to put my handle next to where I placed the pin. I'll just put one pin in here at the minute because I am actually, so I'm going to take this around, make sure it doesn't twist, and place that one on that side, and pop the pin in there. Now rather than have to measure again, what I'll do is turn it to the other way, pull the top of the bag so it aligns with the side seams, and then I'm going to take my other bag handle and I'm going to line it up with the one on the other side. Can you see, there's the one on the other side, and there is this one. So that one is in the right position, like so. And then I'm going to take my other piece and wind that up to there. And again, just pull that to the side seam and then align that one with the one at the back. Just saves measuring twice, and you know they will line up. So what I'm going to do now, rather than having pins in the way, just take that off again, I'm just going to stitch along these. So I'll take the pin out now, and I'm just going to stitch the handle in place. And I'll only just do once because it's going to be anchored when we do our actual popping the bag together. That's it. So we'll stitch across there. So that's just holding that one in place. And then we'll go round to the next one. And I'm stitching about 1/8 of an inch from the edge. So it's just holding it ready for the next step. So, and stitch across there. I just sometimes find it's easier to have it stitched in place rather than having, so there we go, there we are, there in place, rather than having pins in there, because they stick in these sometimes and they move. But there we've got our handles in place. Now, so we have our bag lining, we have our drawstring part, and the drawstring part is the piece we need next. So what we're going to do is place the drawstring. Now what I'm going to look at is, that's it that way, so it's going to go, right, so I want it, so have a look to see which way is right way up, when it's got direction. And I've got this, so I've got the raw edges at the top, and the raw edge, I'm going to slot it over my bag so that the raw edges meet. So let's just slot that over there. So I've got these raw edges at the top, as you can see, and I'm going to line up the side of my drawstring piece with the side of the bag. So let's just, and I am going to use pins again here. So we can just pop the pin in there to hold that in place, and then swivel to the other side, and again we're looking for that side seam of the bag and the side seam of the drawstring. So we'll just line those up like so and put a pin in there. Then when we stretch that out, that fits beautifully, as it should. So I'm just going to align those raw edges, and we'll put a pin back into where that handle is. You can put more pins if you want, but I know that that fits nicely. So the thing is with the drawstring, when it comes up, oh, it's the wrong way around. Let's just have a look here. No, that's the wrong way around. Wrong way. Right, okay, let's start again, because I want it to be the right way up. So having popped that on, it is best to check. So actually I'm going to turn it inside out. So I've turned that, and I'm going to put it on the opposite way round. Yeah, that's right. So I've still got my good edge at the bottom and my rough edge at the raw edges at the top. Ugh, you see, it just happens to us all, doesn't it? Perhaps, oh yeah, that's right. So when I turn it back up, that's going to be the right way. Excellent. So we'll do what we did before. Side seam and pin. Turn to the other side. Side seam and pin. Good practice, hey? I'd say. And then pull that out so that we can put a pin where the handle is. Is that going to go? You know, it's going to go the right way. It just looked at it wrongly. Never mind. Okay, and then pull the other side as well. Pin in where the handle is, and you can see that's just holding all those edges together. So we need the drawstring in the middle, because then we're going to put the whole of this into our lining piece. So I might scrunch that a little bit to put that in, and we're going to do exactly the same. Ow, that's where the pins stick in me, you see. However, we're going to line up the side seams again. So there is the side seam, here is the side seam, just pull that up, and so I'll take the pin out and replace it so that the lining is held together as well. I'm just putting my hand in to push the outer bag right into the corner. because it just makes it easier to line up the side seam. So there again is my side seam. There is the lining side seam. So let's just pull that out and tuck it in. And then just as the drawstring part fitted, so should this. So if you just pull that out to the sides and then just lift that up so it aligns at the top, and take the pin out which is on the handle, swivel to the other side and give it a pull so that you can take that pin out, and we've got it all nicely aligned so that we can just stitch around the top of that bag really easily. So start wherever you like. I don't always start, well, I don't start at a side seam, but I start to one side of a strap, a handle. Let's just see if we can come a little bit closer there. That's it. And 1/4 inch seam. And take that one out. And see, by having the pins in there, that is nicely lined up. And there's our handle, which will have taken into account all of that stitching we did just to hold that firmly in place without pins. Take that out and carry on around. And I'm just thinking, I don't think I top stitched, do I? Oh, never mind. So what I should have done and didn't, when I put that, when I put my wadding on the back of the front piece, I should have top stitched. It would just made it look a little bit neater or a little bit more finished. So I've just got the whole way round. We'll trim that off. And now what we need to do is just turn this through. So my hand is in that hole in the bottom. So we're just going to pull that through like so. And what I like to do is put my hand, oh no, we know we know the bottom of the bag has got no holes, but the lining, let's just make sure that hasn't either. So I'm just going to tuck my fingers into each side there, like so. Yeah, you see what I didn't do. I should have stitched along here, but I didn't. So let's just close the gap in the lining. Now my usual way is just hold the seam, fold the seam in the bottom on the edge, and then I use that with my hands, and then just tuck the 1/4 inch along the bottom line here, the bottom edge, and I'm just running my nail along here, 1/4 inch in, just so that when I come to stitch this, machine stitch it together, that just lines up nicely. So tuck any fraying in, and then we will hold that together, and you can see that lines up pretty well. So we'll just go straight on here, and I like to stitch pretty close to the edge. I will reverse there, and then I'm just going to hold this together so that it lines up, and then I've got a very narrow seam here, but let's just cut that with a thread, and you can go the whole way across the bottom. Let's do a on-the-spot stitch there. So if you go the whole way across the bottom, it just means that it looks as though it was meant to be there, rather than, oh, that's where she turned it through, because that's what friends do, don't they? They have a look to see how you've made it. Okay, so that's stitched quite neatly. Then just give it a pull, just to make sure there's no holes. Tuck it into the bag. What I am going to do, so I'm tucking that right into these corners, the lining. We can give this a press. So on the inside, I like to press the iron in there just so that the wadding all lays downwards on the edge, and that way, so I'm just going to stick the iron in here so you can see I'm not going the whole way down, but I'm just pressing that around the edge, which is, let me see, can I do it this way? Okay, so I'm going to pop the iron in here because I am going to top stitch around this other. So that's going in just around where the edge of the drawstring bag and the wadding is. Okay, so just keep swapping that just a little bit like that, and just push the iron in and press that around there, nearly the whole way around. So just push that down, push the lining into the bag, but there we go. That will give us a nice neat edge to just go around here with a little bit of top stitching. So because I've got the free arm here, it means I can quite easily go in here. So I'll lift my handles up because I'm not going to stick through those, and pop that over here. Now I can also feel under here that the wadding is facing downwards, and then it just means we can top stitch on there as well. So I'm going to do 2 rounds actually, because I missed 1 round before. So I'm also going to do bigger. I'll do 3.4, 3.5. Okay. So I'm just stitching. So it's also going to catch down the handle in there as well. So I've got my fingers inside, just feeling that that is exactly that I want the wadding pressed down. That's sticking up, isn't it? That's it. So I'm just stitching along the trim, but pushing the wadding down towards the bottom. Okay. So again, just push that under and hold that handle down as well. That's down. And it makes for a nice neat look inside as well. Let's just push that down. Again. Pull it around a little bit. Push that wadding. Oh. Trisha going a little bit too fast. There we are. So again, just pushing that down. And I'm coming round to the other side. So I've just stitched over a couple of stitches there where I started, and I'll trim that, but now I'm actually going, because the lining is all in there neatly and nicely, I'm going to stitch around another 1/4 inch in. So the right hand side of the foot is following that stitch line that I just did. And I suppose if I wanted to, I could stitch around this bottom edge here, but it would go through the lining as well. And I don't mind doing it through this little bit here, but a little bit further down. I should have done it when I put the wadding to the back. So just pull that out. Just hold that wadding down there, that seam. But this should give a nice there we're going back to the beginning here. And then over the first 2 or 3 stitches, that's it, that we did there. So let's just trim that little bit of thread from the first round off there. So now you can't actually see where I started and stopped. Oh, there's a bit of thread there. Well, you won't be able to once I've done that. Okay, so that's just got the stitching, 2 rows, and I should have done 1, but you won't forget. I think it does say that on the instructions around here. But there, so that is done. Now the only thing that's left to do is to thread some piping cord through the top. So If a friend did check on my sewing, they are not really... No, that is absolutely true, isn't it? But you see now by me turning, I've got my flowers the right way up. If I'd had it the other way, so just check that, on the inside, they're facing downwards. So, what we need to do, let's just have a look. Where has my piping? Oh, I've used my safety pin, haven't I? Right. So, I do need to just pop the piping cord into the top here. But the safety pin is here, which I was using. If you've got your bodkins that lots of you bought the other week, that would be ideal. Can't lay my hands on mine at the minute. It is somewhere around here, but I can't find it. But never mind. So that, I will do that a little bit later. But basically, there is your drawstring picnic bag. Can you confirm that the instructions for this bag will not be available? No, they won't. I just felt we've got tomorrow night's one. This as a kit, okay, as it's a subscription box one. I don't do that in the Sew with Trisha. Oh, a hair grip will do it. Yeah, I haven't got a hair grip here at the minute though, Michelle. So here's the drawstring. Okay. So what will I do? What will I do? No, because it is within the subscription box. As I say, it's a purchase one, and not as a freebie again in the group. What I will, let me just see what I will do. No, I can't think of. Someone would want to know if there are matching lining fabrics available. Oh, thank you, Fiona. There are. I have got some more fabrics. So I've just used pale grey in mine. You could use calico. Basically, because you don't see what's in there, I have got some more fabrics in the range. I have got some with sheep on. I think I've got pale green background, here with sheep on, and I think there's a mustardy one like this with sheep on, and there's another colour as well. I will see if I can, I'll see if I can get them on the website to go along with, because there's quite a few in the range, and as you can see I've just chosen, what, 6 or 8 of them. So yes, there are coordinating ones. Some that I've got, I have got this one, which I absolutely love this, I don't know why, but I do, in a navy, a dark blue background, but as it happened it didn't go with the combinations that I was using in the kits, so, yeah, it is a lovely, lovely colour, isn't it? It looks like it's the wrong way, but it's not, so that's the right way up there. So yes, there's definitely this one, with a dark blue background, but with these beautiful lupins, I think they are. Lupins and whatever else there is on there, so I'll get them on. Also, can the wadding and lining aren't, no, that's the only things that you need to, I'll tell you what I will put, I'll put some piping cord in there as well. I didn't put that on the list, but there'll be some piping cord, which I've got here somewhere. I've got my, oh, it's over there. So you'll get piping cord, so the only thing, it's the lining and the wadding need to be, well, the lining needs to be bigger than the size of the long quarters. That was why I didn't put that in there. And the wadding is of your choice as well. So, oh, Jack decided on the blue. I saw yours go through a lot earlier, Jack. I know. Okay, so what you do get, you get 5, let me just show you one colourway. You will get 5 long quarters of fabric, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You will get the instruction pack, you will get a wool pressing mat, and you will get the instruction pack and a reel of thread. So I mean, your reel of thread these days is between £2.50 and £3. The fabric will be £16.50, £17. The instruction pack's £8. That's on the website as well, the printed one, or as a PDF it's £6. The wall pressing mat £10. I do need to get it into a large letter box. Otherwise, postage is even more horrendous. But there's a lot included for your £30. You have got far more than £30 of value within the box. So yeah, that is what I do like to put as much as I can in there. And as I say, if I'd have put wadding in it, and you know, I could have done and put them at £40, but I prefer to give you value at £30 with your free postage. So that is what you will be getting within your subscription box. Oh, thank you, Sandra. Oh, you bought the blue. Thank you, everybody that's bought some. I did. I love it, and I must have had it for 6-9 months, and I just haven't got round to bringing it to you. But it is. I like both. I love the scenery. Actually, this, you see how the scenery undulates, and you've got these sweeps here. I'm thinking I'm going to do a quilt with you with that sort of idea. It's amazing what inspires you, isn't it? Thank you, Shirley. So, I'm going to go now. I think it is my dinner time. Usually I'm only in about an hour. Oh, thank you, Jack. Usually I'm about an hour on a Thrifty Thursday, and unless, of course, it's a big fabric sale. But tonight we've got a little bit. Oh, thank you, Lindsay. Yes, so enjoy the rest of your evening. I will be back tomorrow. Thank you for joining me. I will be back tomorrow, and we have the circular drawstring bag. There will be a PDF, which I'm making and doing that at the moment. It's nearly done, so that will be ready. So you're jack of all. Okay. Oh, that's lovely, Jill. So yes, enjoy the rest of your evening and tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday, so, and it's a bank holiday weekend. We'll have to do something special for that, won't we? Anyhow, take care of yourselves. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.